In this demo of Vormetric transparent data encryption, we will pretend to be an administrator or privileged user and try to view sensitive data from the command line. Then we will try as the administrator to switch to an authorized user and try and view that same data. Then, as the authorized user, we'll try and view the data, having logged in as the actual authorized user. And finally, we'll modify the policy to disallow viewing the data from the command line and see whether the authorized user can view that data again from the command line. Then we will ensure that the data is still available to the application. We have an Oracle database here, and we can see the tables within Oracle SQL Developer. And we can go from table to table and see the data within the developer. This is similar to looking at the data within an application, but we can also view the data files from the file system. So if I'm the root user on this Linux system on which Oracle is running, I can do a list of the files that are in the Oracle directory. I can see all the files, the file names, the file sizes, ownership, and everything. All these files are actually encrypted, and they were encrypted previously with transparent data encryption. Now we're going to take a look and see if we can see the contents of these files. And what we need to do, and what we can do, is run a strings command on this file, users01.dbf, which corresponds to the data we saw in Oracle SQL Developer. And as root, we try and view the contents, anything that's readable within the file. It looks like it's all garbage. So this means this has been encrypted and the root user is unable to see the contents of the file itself, although he can see the file in the directory. Now if we logged in as the Oracle service account in another session and we try to do the same thing against those files, do we see any difference? The Oracle service account obviously is used by the Oracle database. And here we can see that the Oracle service account is allowed to see the data. This is the agent in action, working transparently to decrypt the data as the Oracle service account is accessing the data. We can still see that the data is available, and we can actually search a name within that table from the command line and see that it corresponds to the names that we see within Oracle SQL Developer, which is going in through the Oracle client. So we're actually able to see sensitive data. One interesting possibility, though, is that the admin user might know how to switch users to the Oracle service account without requiring a password to be entered. If we try and do that, we see that the data is still encrypted for that user because the agent knows who the effective user was. This was the original user that the administrative user has logged in as. They'd have to log in as the Oracle account using the Oracle service account's password. But now we don't want that Oracle service account to be able to access the data from the command line. So let's go to the policy and modify this rule here that says the Oracle user is able to read the data. And what we'll do is remove the apply key setting, which is the setting that actually enables the agent to decrypt using a key, applying a key to decrypt the data as reading. So when we remove that, the Oracle service account from the command line should not be able to see the data since the key will not be applied. Here we see that the change to the policy has actually arrived at the agent, has been sent to the agent and accepted. And we'll try and run that command again, the strings command, and now we see that the data is no longer visible from the command line. It's all encrypted still. If we try and search on Smith, it cannot find it. However, we can still access the tables from the Oracle SQL Developer client, as would an application be able to access the data. So therefore, you have restricted the data from access from the command line and only allow access in a selective, very protected kind of way. So to summarize, we saw how an administrative user who has access to sensitive data from the command line could not actually see the data. They were in effect blinded from the data because the data was encrypted. When that user tried to switch to an authorized user, they continued to be blinded from the data. That was the Vormetric agent understanding the fact that the effective user was really an administrator. Then we logged in as an authorized user, and we showed that we can see that data, that the authorized user can actually see the data from the command line. But we saw that as a sensitive activity, and so we modified the policy and said that the authorized user should not be allowed to see the data from the command line, but only from the application. And we proved that that authorized user could no longer see the data. However, the data was still available and accessible by the application.